The morning sun cast long shadows through the reinforced windows of CorpSec's command center in Sector 18. Roy Chen stood with his arms crossed, his imposing frame reflected in the smart glass as he studied the holographic map before him. "Olivia!" he called out, his voice calm but carrying an edge of urgency. "Look at these patterns in Sector 23. The signatures are inconsistent with standard enhanced individuals." Olivia Blaze stepped forward, her movements fluid and precise. Her enhanced speed was evident even in the way she analyzed data, her eyes darting across the floating diagrams faster than any unenhanced human could process. "Our sensors picked up multiple anomalies in this region," Roy said, highlighting several pulsing red dots on the map. "Energy signatures that don't match any registered enhanced individuals. I want you to investigate Sector 23 and the surrounding areas. Something's not right." "The readings suggest someone's trying to mask their presence," she observed, enlarging a particular cluster of data points. "But they're leaving traces, like footprints in sand they tried to sweep away." Roy nodded, a grim smile crossing his face. "Kessler wants results. Take a team and sweep the area. Focus on the underground networks. That's where they always try to hide." Olivia studied the pattern of anomalies. "Any specific locations I should focus on?" "Start with the maintenance districts. Question the workers, street vendors, anyone who might have noticed unusual activity." Roy's eyes narrowed. "But watch yourself. Mara Quill's gang controls parts of those tunnels. Avoid their territory if possible. We don't need a gang war today." "Understood, sir." Olivia nodded, already planning her approach. "I'll keep things quiet, unless forced otherwise." The streets of Sector 23 buzzed with the usual morning chaos. Olivia led a squad of 6 CorpSec operatives. Their Guardian Series armor gleamed dully in the emergency lighting, each suit a masterpiece of engineering designed to give unenhanced soldiers a fighting chance against their enhanced counterparts. Workers hurried to their shifts, street vendors hawked synthetic food, and security drones hummed overhead. Olivia moved through the crowd with practiced ease, her CorpSec uniform causing people to give her a wide berth. Her first stop was a noodle stand operated by an elderly woman who'd been in the sector for decades. "Ma'am?" Olivia approached, keeping her voice professional but non-threatening. "I'm investigating some unusual activities in the area. Have you noticed anything strange lately? Anyone moving faster than they should, or showing unusual strength?" The woman's weathered face remained carefully neutral. "Nothing unusual, officer. Just the same faces every day." Olivia moved on, questioning maintenance workers, dock handlers, and even a few local security guards. Most gave similar responses. Nothing unusual, everything normal. But their eyes told a different story, darting away too quickly, showing the fear of people who knew something but wouldn't speak. Near a maintenance hub, she found a more talkative source, a young technician working on a ventilation system. "Now that you mention it," he said, glancing nervously over his shoulder, "there have been some weird power fluctuations in the lower levels. Systems going offline for no reason. Security cameras glitching. Tech team can't explain it." Olivia's enhanced senses picked up his elevated heart rate. "Anything else?" "Well," he hesitated. "There's been talk about someone moving through the maintenance tunnels at night. Too fast to be normal. But that's just rumors, you know." Following this lead, Olivia descended into the maintenance tunnels. The network of passages stretched for miles under the sector, most of them poorly lit and rarely patrolled. Her enhanced speed allowed her to cover ground quickly, checking junction points and access panels for signs of tampering. 3 hours into her search, she found something. scratch marks on a security door that suggested frequent, unauthorized access. As she examined them, her trained senses picked up movement ahead. She followed the sound, moving deeper into the tunnel system. The markers on the walls began to change, growing more elaborate and threatening. Gang symbols. With a start, she realized she'd crossed into Mara Quill's territory. Before she could retreat, laughter echoed through the tunnel, sharp and mocking. Mara Quill emerged from the shadows, her lean frame adorned with salvaged tech and makeshift armor. The scar on her cheek seemed to glow in the dim light. "Well, if it isn't Novogenix's favorite lapdog," Mara sneered, but her eyes were calculating. "These tunnels are my territory. Corp Sec has no jurisdiction here." "We're tracking enhanced activity in your sector," Olivia stated coldly. "Someone's been moving through these tunnels. You're going to tell us everything you know." Mara's lips curled into a defiant smile. "I don't give up information to corporate thugs, even fast ones." "Then I guess we're doing this the hard way." Olivia's voice carried no emotion, just certainty. The tunnel erupted into chaos. Mara's crew emerged from hidden positions, their weapons trained on the core Sec team. But Olivia was already moving, her enhanced speed turning her into a blur of motion. She crossed the distance to the first gang member before he could squeeze his trigger, disarming him with a precision strike to the wrist. Two more gang members opened fire, their shots echoing through the tunnel. Olivia weaved between the bullets, her enhanced spatial awareness making them appear almost slow. Behind her, the core Sec team advanced, their guardian armor deflecting most of the incoming fire. "Spread out!" Mara commanded, pulling a device from her belt. "Execute Pattern Sigma." Her crew responded with practiced coordination, taking positions at different elevations in the tunnel. One of them landed a lucky shot, catching a core Sec operator in the joint of their armor. The operator went down, cursing. Olivia continued her assault, moving like liquid mercury through the battlefield. She disabled 3 more gang members in rapid succession, her strikes precise and devastating. But as she moved to engage another group, something caught her enhanced senses. A subtle click beneath her feet. Too late, she realized Mara's true strategy. The tunnel floor beneath her collapsed, revealing a pit lined with electromagnetic disruptors. Olivia's momentum carried her forward, but her enhanced reflexes allowed her to grab the edge of the pit. The disruptors hummed menacingly below, designed to scramble both tech and enhanced abilities. "Not so fast now, are you?" Mara taunted, approaching the pit with her modified pulse pistol drawn. But Olivia had trained for moments like this. Using her grip on the edge as an anchor, she swung her body in a tight arc, launching herself out of the pit. She landed behind Mara's position, rolling to absorb the impact. The battle intensified. 2 more core Sec operators took hits, their armor smoking from repeated impacts. Mara's crew was well trained, using the tunnel's architecture for cover while maintaining sustained fire. Olivia knew she needed to end this quickly. She accelerated to her maximum speed, becoming almost invisible to normal human perception. The world around her seemed to slow to a crawl as she moved through the battlefield, disarming gang members with surgical precision. Mara realized her advantage was slipping. She activated another trap, releasing a cloud of metallic particles into the air. The particles would make it harder for Olivia to maintain her speed without risking injury. But Olivia had anticipated this. She held her breath and pushed through the cloud, her momentum scattering the particles. In a fraction of a second, she appeared behind Mara, pressing the barrel of her own weapon against the gang leader's head. "Call them off," Olivia commanded, her voice deadly quiet. "Now!" Mara tensed, calculating her options. But with the cold press of the barrel against her skull and most of her crew disabled, she knew she was out of moves. "Stand down," she shouted to her remaining fighters. "Drop your weapons." The clatter of weapons hitting the ground echoed through the tunnel. CorpSec operators moved quickly to secure the surrendering gang members. "Now," Olivia said, maintaining pressure on the weapon. "About that information I requested." Mara's jaw clenched. "If I talk, what's stopping you from shutting down my whole operation? Your cooperation might convince CorpSec that having a regulated independent operator in these tunnels serves corporate interests. Your resistance has already cost my team. Don't make it worse." After a long moment, Mara spoke, her voice bitter. "There's been unusual activity. That smuggler, Ray Voss, he's been acting strange lately, running weird routes, avoiding normal checkpoints." "Details," Olivia pressed. "Few weeks back, he participated in a race through these tunnels. Him and his friend, something wasn't right. My traps failed, security systems glitched. Things that shouldn't have been possible." "This friend, description?" "Maintenance worker, keeps to himself. But during that race—" Mara hesitated, wincing as Olivia pressed the barrel harder. "Things happened. Like they knew things they couldn't have known. Like they had help that wasn't human." Olivia activated her comlink, keeping the weapon steady. "Sir, we have a lead. A smuggler named Ray Voss, and he's got an interesting friend. Request permission to expand the investigation." Roy's voice crackled through the link. "Permission granted. Bring in Voss. If he's connected to our target, he'll lead us right to them." Olivia looked down at Mara, who was being fitted with restraints by the CorpSec team. "Your cooperation will be noted. But if I find out you've held anything back—" She left the threat unfinished. As her team secured the area and tended to their wounded, Olivia's mind raced. They finally had a solid lead, a connection to the anomaly they'd been hunting. Ray Voss was the key, and she would make him talk. "Prepare for expanded operations in Sectors 23, she commanded her team. "Our target has evaded us for too long. It's time to tighten the net." The hunt was on, and somewhere in these sectors, their quarry was waiting. Olivia allowed herself a small smile. Speed had always been her advantage, and now she could feel the momentum shifting in their favor. The game was changing, and the next move belonged to CorpSec.